Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
We're so glad to have you on board this morning, and you're going to be delighted to meet our speaker, Dr. Bhargavi Kola, who is a pediatrician with the Texas Tech University Health Science Center. And she's both a teaching and a practicing physician. And she's going to talk to us today about some children's issues that you need to know about. Whether you're a grandparent or a parent or an uncle or an aunt, this is some information that'll be very helpful to you. And Dr. Bhargavi, we're so pleased to have you here today and have you as part of our program and giving us some of this good information. And before we start, I want you to talk about you. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got to Texas Tech Health Science Centers.
A very good morning, Johnny. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. Well, I was born and raised in South India in a beautiful city called Secunderabad. It's very hard to spell though. It's in south part of India. I went to med school there. I was born to an engineer and a housewife. My father has dreamt a lot and he has cherished that I become a medical doctor. And my mother, I can say, has never changed or never turned a stone unturned to make his dream come true. And I guess my family, my beautiful family with my sister, my brother, my husband and my kids, and I'm very glad, all thankful to them that they helped me in every step of life to be a successful doctor.
And so, how hard is it for you to be here when they're in India?
I actually went to med school in India, and I dreamt of being in a part of a hospital. I wanted to know what's going around in the world, and I know this is the best place to learn, and so I came here in 2005, did my master's in hospital administration and public administration to see what healthcare facility here is like and what I can do to make it much better. And that's when I realized that this is a huge and an immense program and there's a lot to learn. It's like a big ocean and I have to jump into it. So I did my residency at New York Hospital Lincoln Medical and Mental Health Center. I finished my residency successfully and I went into private practice to see what it is the world outside residency. Because being as a resident, you always want to be under an attending, so you're always protected. Now being on your own is something different. So I was on my own for 2 years in New Jersey. I saw different patient populations, and then that's when I realized that I still need to learn more to be in a facility, like a teaching facility like Texas Tech. Thanks God I'm here. And this is a beautiful place which gives me a variety of options. I can teach, I can do research, I can practice stuff on my own. So all in all, it's a great program, and I'm very glad to be here.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you know, the Texas Tech University Health Science Center has been such a blessing to the whole West Texas area. But they have brought in some wonderful, wonderful doctors to teach other doctors and also then to do the practice in addition. And we have doctors that come, of course, all over West Texas to have you take care of their children. And so your family, is your husband a doctor?
Yes, I'm married to a pediatrician too. He was my medical school classmate. He's now my friend, philosopher, and guide, a very strong supporter. For whatever I do, he's there for me.
And so how many children do you have?
I have 2 wonderful kids. I'm blessed with 2 boys, a 3-year-old and a 10-month-old, and who keep me running and keep me teaching every day because I practice pediatrics at work and at home.
But for goodness sakes, 2 children that age do keep you busy with a demanding practice.
Right. And that keeps me very close and abreast with my patients who are actually stressful with kids. Some of them have 6 or 7 kids, so I'm kind of knowing the stress of a mom and the job of a pediatrician. I'm trying to balance it, hopefully successfully so far.
And you also know what trends are happening in the children's diseases at that time. This is chickenpox time. My own child has chickenpox.
Right. So I do see the challenges every day in my home and at work, so I can relate what I see. And oftentimes it happens that the patients come to me, the mothers, they feel so depressed, and I do see myself in their spot, and I do give them like, this is what I wanted and this is what I'm going to give you. So most often they feel very relaxed and very comforted, and they have that confidence, they build up the confidence in you, like, yes, she's been through it, she's experienced it, so it's coming from an experienced person, so I will take it. So that is a good
And the
way.
interesting thing about that is you know firsthand how this stress affects you, and then how that affects parenthood, and then how that affects the child.
Right.
And so you're taking care of the children by taking care of the mother.
Yes.
When I became a mother, one of the things that I understood was to be my best self as a parent, I had to be my best self first.
Exactly. So
That
I'm
is-
glad I'm taking care of children at my home and at work. So that's a blessing.
Well, is your husband, as a pediatrician, working for Texas Tech Health
Yes.
Science Center also?
He's my colleague at Texas Tech. It's Dr. Vivekananda Dasari. He is my colleague at Texas Tech Pediatrics, and he helps me in my work and at home.
Oh, great. Oh, gosh, what a nice thing to have a partnership 24 hours a day. Well, I want us to talk about several wonderful issues that you had indicated to me, because we've had questions about these kinds of things, and I wanted you to start off by talking about what happens to children, and we're talking about even babies, when they become overweight. And how does that affect their health, and why should we be concerned about that?
That's a very good question, Johnny, because this in the modern world, in the current world where we spend a lot of time sitting and doing a lot of brain teasing job, we only mentally work.
Or the kids do this.
Yes. They do a lot of job for their fingers, but not a lot of job for their body. So this is a current, it's actually a bane that I can say that we're having it because of the technology. I'm not blaming the technology per se, but we're getting so used to it. So overweight and obesity has become a growing problem. I can say majority of my patients who come in who are more than 10 years, usually in their early adolescent age group, they just walk in overweight. And some of them, I can say about 25 to 30% are obese. And they do walk in with the
30%?
30%, yes, that's a large number.
That is a large number.
And this is not just in Texas, I believe it's everywhere, because when I worked in New Jersey, that was the same problem. So, and I do see these kids walk in with parents who themselves are obese or overweight.
That's right.
And when you confront as a pediatrician, they're taken back. So it's a very delicate issue, and you have to take care of it in a better way, because this is really a serious problem that we
And it
encounter.
doesn't just affect you
Your brain
physically, it
yes,
affects you
yes,
mentally
yes.
also.
Most often we talk about how it affects you as an obese kid or an overweight child, that you end up developing diabetes later on in your life, or high blood pressure, or joint problems, or bone problems. But nobody thinks about what's going on in the mind of that overweight or obese child. He's bullied at work. Now he cannot keep up physically with things, so he gets stayed back. So that's physically and mentally affecting him significantly, and we actually overlook the serious problem.
We're going to have to take a break right now. This is such exciting information. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation.
Be right back.